Okay, here we go. Hi guys, Will, just in time prepping. Okay, let's say once upon a time, a long time ago, we're gonna have a story. And I'll give you guys a little insight into my past, I guess. And let's go back, say, oh man, it's gonna be a while back. We're gonna go back into this early 60s. A lot of you guys out there are probably not even remember the 60s. You probably weren't born then. Some of you were, but most of you were not. Let's see, 60, let's say 65, 66, somewhere in there. 1966 would be a good place to start. And in 1966, I was a very young guy, probably 10 or 11 years old. And my mom was actually a substitute teacher. We lived in the South. Go figure that. We lived in Alabama. And my mom was a substitute teacher. And she would teach in the schools when the teachers were out sick on vacation, the routine. She would fill in wherever needed. And a lot of the times, this was way back before segregation. There was times where she would have to go and she would have to teach in a Negro school. So there was lots of times that she went and taught in those Negro schools, and she got to know the black people pretty well. She got to know them so well that she would go to their houses for dinner and stuff, and then segregation started, where they started moving the blacks into the white schools and started busing them and whatnot. And we had all of those problems with the busing. If you guys remember, some of you probably don't remember, they had big problems getting everybody to cross over into the segregation of blacks and whites together. That was a big time in those days, just like what we're going through now, sort of. But, we had lots of people burning buses and rioting and all kinds of stuff. Just like today, trying to get the changes to get going. So, uh, we went through all that. My mom, she was an advocate for change. And she was with the lobbyists of getting the uh, segregation going with the blacks and the whites going to school together. So she was of the belief that everyone was created equal, no matter what your skin color was. So I'm thinking that's probably how myself got to that point in my life where I didn't hold any grudges against anyone just because of their skin color. So, this is something that has been instilled into me, and I really don't, you know, hold anything against anyone, regardless of whatever their skin color is, black, brown, green, blue, whatever. So that is how it all comes down to when I tell you guys that I am not either a Democrat nor a Republican or independent. I'm none of those things. I'm for America. And a lot more people should be that way. I've noticed here on YouTube since I've been here that a lot of people use this platform to be more Republican or more Democrat, and a lot of even the people that I like and that I get along with on here are dead set against Democrats. There's a lot of people that dead set against Democrats, but there's a lot of people that are dead set against Republicans as well. So I don't always agree with everyone, but I don't always disagree with them either. And if I do disagree, I try not to say anything at all. That way, I leave myself to be apolitical, I believe. I would rather be apolitical than to say Democrats this or the dirty red bugger, blah, 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 that. It's not who I am. So, just so that you guys know that. So, we'll get back to the 60s now, and my mom, she got sick because she was teaching in the black schools and whatnot, and she would go in there and they didn't have any kind of segregation against the blacks or anything like that. So it was, they did take care of their schools. So my mom would get sick. The one time I can remember really well is that my mom got jaundice from teaching in the black schools and was hospitalized, and she almost died from it. I myself and my siblings couldn't go and see her in the hospital. That's how bad it was. She was contagious and all that good stuff. And we couldn't go in to see her. So it was a tough time for us. But when she got out and she got healed up, she got out, she went right back to it, to teaching those black kids, teaching them how to deal with being segregated, taught in the white schools and the black schools, and tried to teach the students how to get along together. And, uh, I, I'm glad that I had the mother I had, that she could teach, not just myself and my siblings, but other children too, of how to get along with everybody. And that's what days that I like. As the 60s rolled through and we went into the 70s, I went into the military, and because of the stuff that I learned from my mom and from going to school in the South and stuff, it carried right into my military. I didn't care if the black people in the military were black, brown, green, blue, whatever. Hey, they were just people. And, as we go through our lives, this is how I believe that we are brought up with our beliefs. Like my parents that didn't care about the blacks, the browns, or the greens, or the blues. They looked at them just as people. And that's how we should be doing it as now. And the reason for the video is to show you that I've been coming up through decades of the blacks having issues with violence from the police and everything. It hasn't really changed from uh, decades ago. I mean, some people just have it instilled in them. And I believe it comes from being brought up with their parents and their grandparents and whatnot. Those kind of people teach them how to have their beliefs. And I think that's kind of sad. I guess that's what the video is really all about, is the sadness that I feel, with the protests going on right now and the police over policing, and the American people really do need to uh, step up and say enough is enough. I believe that. I have this thing in my nose, or I would be out there at my age, I would still be out there protesting. Because I believe that we spend too much money on uh, law enforcement so they can have all those fancy military gear. I remember when they first started introducing that stuff back in 2000, and they were just going to have bigger cities have the gear so that they could handle riots. Well, a protest is not a riot, you guys. I'm sorry. Uh, it has gotten out of hand from 2000. I mean, it just kept escalating that they think they need more and more and more when they don't. They need to spend that money, I believe, on psychological testing and teaching the police how to handle a situation and or defuse it. And I know they do. Don't get me wrong. I know they do now, but they can teach them more. You know, they can teach them more without having military weapons. I mean, we don't need to use the weapons that we use in war on our streets here in America. That's my belief, you know. And I, under the First Amendment, have my rights to tell you guys that because I have the freedom of speech, and there's a lot of countries that don't have that. So you know, that's where I'm going with this. This is my protest, my public protest to you guys, saying, you know, enough is enough. You know, let's treat everybody the same. If we treated the blacks and the browns and the greens and the blues all the same, no matter what color the skin or what their background is, then we wouldn't have so many headaches. We wouldn't have certain governments using military action to squelch their own people. That is something that really is not making it sit very well with me. Is we shouldn't have a government that seems to think that we need to have military people traipsing all over their own kind. Who really who deserves that? We're as a country, we're not like that. So why should we have somebody that thinks that is possible or needed? That's where this video actually came from. I can't believe that our president would do something like that. I'm just going to say our president, and I I am disappointed, and my heart aches. Is that he thinks that he has to do this? I mean, I'm really hurt. I don't want to say anything because I'll get all wound up, but I'm not a wound up kind of guy. I don't like to get wound up on here, and I won't. I refuse to get wound up on here. But I want you guys to know that this is my stand. My stand is enough is enough. Enough is enough. I understand the law enforcement people need to have some leverage, but we still need to make sure that they don't do things outside the scope of what is needed. I've been watching the protests, and I've been watching both sides. I'm not saying either side is more righteous than the other. I'm just saying that uh, enough is enough. So I don't know. This is about enough for me. I wanted you guys to know that once upon a time, a long time ago, it's all been going that long. Uh, I remember the 60s, the 70s, the 80s, the 90s, we're into the 2000s. It's time to say enough is enough. I mean, the young people of today deserve a better future. Why can't we hand them a better future? Instead of saying those stinking Democrats or those red buggers or whatever that you're saying, keep those words inside of you and try to teach people how to love one another or how to be nice to one another. Uh, why go out there and try to trash your fellow men? I mean, the people that you talk to every day. Every day you talk to these people, and then you turn around and you come on here and you trash one side or the other. I don't get it. I guess I'll never get it because I'm American. I'm not Republican. I'm not Democrat. I'm not independent. I'm American. I believe that all Americans need to be treated with equality. It's none of this stinking red guy, stinking blue guy, whatever. Equality. Treat people how you want to be treated. If you're on here saying those Democrats, or you watch out, you Democrats, or the Republicans need to go stick where the sun don't shine, all these things are not a positive way of living your life. But these are all my opinions. So that's today's lesson. I really appreciate you listening. Remember to leave your comments below because I read all of them. And sometimes that's why I make these videos. I read the comments, I watch the videos, I leave comments, I watch my comments, and you guys get to listen to the feedback. Okay, that's what I got for you. Appreciate you guys taking the time to listen. I'll see you later.